YInTiCo has caught us all by surprise. In January, Schmincke released a new color, YInTiCo Red, as a watercolor, and no one expected it. It has no pigment number and is a mystery. Today I'm going to share all I was able to find about it in this past month and share lots of swatches. Hello wonderful people! I'm Lana and I thought I was up to date with the watercolor news, but no. January was full of surprises. A big one was the new pigment and the color that Schmincke released without prior info. Of course I had to have it to try, test, and for the database on colors.com, where you can already see the swatches. First, I heard about this pigment in a video made by F. Bold. She made a quick overview about the new Schmincke release, and it was just too tempting. By the time of the release of the video, YInTiCo could only be pre-ordered in one German shop, Kunstpark, which I did. And I got it maybe a week later, so it was fairly quick. That was when I began testing. You probably have seen some of the swatches, mixes and photos I have posted on suncolors.com, on the Instagram, or maybe even the high resolution scans I've posted on Patreon. In the background you can see me actually swatch the color and paint with it, because I like to show paints in action while I talk about my experiences with them, properties, and show you, of course, all the swatches. So bear with me here. There's a lot of info to share. The YInTiCo Red comes in 5ml tubes and is a limited edition. Schmincke so far is the first company and the only one to commercially produce it, and I'm truly not sure if any other brand will make paint of it. It's the same price range as Yinmin Blue, which is offered commercially by Schmincke, Core, and also some small paint makers. Their versions are gorgeous, by the way. It is possible that it will be available from a friend, Dirty Blue, who makes very nice watercolors from rare pigments soon. He also made a short video and first impressions of the YInTiCo paint, which I'll link down below as well. For the 5ml tube I did pay about 20 euros. The prices seem to be different though, and when I actually found the paint on Jackson's to link it to friends, the prices did change with every refresh of the page. You can see the screenshots. The prices depended on country settings I had, so it might be worth it to check how much it actually costs for you. In the screenshots you see the very confusing phenomenon. By the way, if you like to support the channel, I do use affiliate links to Jackson's and Amazon, where I receive a small commission when the links are used, at no extra cost to those who actually use them. Thanks for those who actually do use them. Back to YInTiCo, the pigment seems not to be produced in big batches right now. It probably will stay pretty pricey for a while, just as the Yinmin Blue is. The new color doesn't have a pigment number yet, at least it wasn't printed on the tube. The names tell us that the chemical elements to make these pigments are yttrium and indium in combination with titanium and cobalt. It's related to Yinmin, which is also based on yttrium and indium in combination with manganese. The tube has no pigment number, but there is a pigment PR298 with the same components. So maybe it's the same? As this is not confirmed by Schmincke, let's for the moment put a question mark behind this pigment number, but keep it in mind. I have a link to the patent papers and everything I used to collect the data in the description box, but also in the blog post on my site. Now I want to share some first impressions. The tube was a bit bloated almost, so the paint poured out readily and I filled the pan half full. With fresh paint I made the first few swatches. I must admit that I expected the color to be stronger than it was in that initial swatch. After I let the paint dry for a few days, it rewetted nicely, but needed a bit longer to be activated than Schmincke watercolors usually do. The behavior it showed reminded me a lot of cobalt violet when it comes to rewetability. With also the granulation, painting from the pen I was able to create a much more intense swatch, which you can see in the database. As for light fastness, Schmincke says it has the highest light fastness. When it comes to the tone, YInTiCo is a very pretty cool red, almost leaning into magenta. Schmincke compares it to quinacridone magenta, but not as vibrant, which is true, and I see the similarities. To me, it also reminds me of Cobalt Violet by Art Spectrum, which is warmer than the other Cobalt Violets and surprisingly close to YInTiCo. My friend Heidi has tried to mix the hue or the tone and did it successfully by mixing quinacridone magenta with potter's pink. Potter's pink also created the beautiful granulation that you can see in YInTiCo. I'll link her Instagram post down below so you can see for yourself, and she kindly allowed me to show you the photos here. In every swatch created, YInTiCo does granulate beautifully. This is a property that the pigment also keeps in mixes, which will granulate as you can see the swatches I created, as well as in the painting itself. During the mixing tests, I experienced that it's a low to medium tinting strength, and I need more of the YInTiCo pigment to achieve vibrant mixes than of the other ones that I use. Most of the mixes came out pretty soft though. Before we talk more about the mixing qualities, let's first check the other properties. YInTiCo is semi-opaque, and indeed you can see quite a bit of it over the black line once swatched. It's lifting pretty well, but not completely. This also makes it a poor glazer when it comes to the first layer, as the paint will lift and mix with the glazing color. When it comes to dispersion, the pigment does not move much in water. There is a little movement there, but for the most part it just stays put. To play around with the color, I tried mixing a lot. What stood out to me was the pretty primary palette that could be created using YInTiCo Red Transparent Yellow, which is PY 115 Schmincke, and Phthalo Blue, which is PB 15. Mixed with Phthalo Blue, YInTiCo creates wonderful soft purples that granulate beautifully. With Transparent Yellow, it creates slightly muted, beautifully granulating oranges. When I mixed all three colors together, I got the most beautiful neutrals, which separated. I just like the effects and can see using them in paintings for effects. I have another mixing chart where I tried YInTiCo with a simple primary palette that I use for my latest reviews and will show here in comparison. To neutralize YInTiCo, you can use a cool blue-leaning green. I did it successfully using Viridian Hooker's Green by Schmincke, which is a little bit cooler and leaning towards blue than other greens, but also Perylene Green for darker version. In combination with other granulating colors, this paint clearly shines. It must be noted that it's an effect that you have to anticipate. If you're someone who likes clean, smooth mixes, you might not enjoy this pigment. To paint the painting you can see in the background, I created another limited palette. The combination with Quin Gold Hue from the S, I think. I'm not sure which one I have in the palette. Deep Blue, which is PB60 in Schmincke, and Burnt Umber, also from Schmincke, might look weird at the first glance, but allowed me to paint this bird just as I wanted to. The Quin Gold added a bit of warmth to the mixes and created a beautiful, soft, almost cream color in combination with YInTiCo. Deep Blue and YInTiCo were used for the sky and that sunset feeling I was going for. In combination with Burnt Umber, it does create a soft pinkish brown I used in some areas. Last but not least, I like how Burnt Umber and Deep Blue neutralize into the grey-black that I use for the dark feathers as well as the beak and eyes of the bird. That is a little reminder that maybe the palettes you use don't look harmonious at first glance, but the mixes you can create with them are. And that's the excitement of experimenting with colors and mixes, right? So, where do I stand after all these tests with the color? I did enjoy playing with it and experiencing it. It felt new and exciting to me. I do like the granulation a lot, but I'm not a big fan of the low tinting strength. I feel that I can recreate the mixes using a cobalt violet or quinine magenta for less cost. I also have observed that I hit the pan pretty fast during the tests, and it seems like the paint gets used up pretty quickly. My other Schmincke pans last considerably longer with more use, and it's another side effect of the lower tinting strength. So for me personally, as someone who runs the database and gets to make videos on the color, I felt it was worth to buy it. For others it might not be the case. I can see that artists who like bold mixes and strong colors won't enjoy this one as much in their work, as it's just so soft and light when it's actually used in paintings. Those who don't like granulation might struggle with it too, as there is just no way around it. As always, it's up to the personal preference of the painter and their situation whether it's worth the purchase. I tried to sum up everything I found about this paint and pigment and present to you as best as I can. If you need some more information to help you decide, check out the swatch in the watercolor database that is linked down below. Also, there are high resolution scans of all the swatches on Patreon, and you can always comment and ask about whatever I forgot to mention today. I love to nerd around over pigments and share my findings. I also have a nerdy Discord where we discuss all the nerdy pigment things, and you're welcome to join. By the way, I have visited the Creative World Fair in Frankfurt last week and have posted photos from the stands there, so if you're curious about that and want to know how it was there, you can check it out too. Have a wonderful and creative day, everyone, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!